Rialto, California, the city. An explosion of progress from the rise of commerce and new developments. Within it, a community of people, friends, family, and neighbors, welcoming the growth of its hometown. Then, a global pandemic grabbed hold to challenge the foundations of our economy, businesses, and education systems. This is our story.
I want to update you on the COVID-19 pandemic, commonly referred to as coronavirus, that the world is facing, and we as well.
Practice social distancing. We need to get this terrible virus under control and to get back to business as usual.
Wearing a mask isn't about politics, it's about the safety and health of our community. As research proves, it's the quickest, easiest way to defeat COVID-19.
Es muy importante usar un cubrebocas mientras estés en público. Al usar una, estás protegiendo a todos de una posible infección.
If you're sick and suspect that you may have contracted COVID-19, please contact your healthcare provider.
We've closed the majority of our public buildings, and we've also closed all of our city parks to visitors.
Early on in 2020, Rialto saw its share of precautionary measures against COVID-19. Public facilities were closed. Stay-at-home orders reduced travel to essential needs only. There were constant reminders of COVID-19. Many thought this disruption on life would be short-lived, but the spread of the virus did not subside, and the deadly impact it had on lives came to be felt within our own community.
This is a picture of my sister who contacted the COVID-19. She was critical for a little bit, but then they stabilized her. At the time, they weren't letting us in the hospital or nothing, so the only contact we had was through phone. My niece called me the day she came home and said, "Auntie, Mama's coming home at 5 o'clock. And then she called me a half hour later, 3 hours later, said, "Mama passed." I think my sister just wanted to come home.
We put up crosses to honor the memories, and we're going to look for a permanent solution to that where we could have a space that we can continue to honor the people we lost to this pandemic. That really hit the staff hard, the humanistic side of it, right? To going on thousands and thousands of COVID-related calls and seeing how it impacts our individual families here in Rialto. And I think our feelings were, commensurate with that.
With numbers on a constant rise throughout the nation, testing sites became essential and in most cases a regular routine for people. Until vaccinations could fully be distributed, testing availability was kept a priority.
Our staff has just been, absolutely relentless in their efforts to bring in more testing, shuttles, to bring in opportunities to sign up seniors who have limited access to computer or internet, and we're really trying to be proactive to get out to the community to reach especially our most at risk, but everyone in the community.
Yeah, I was afraid to get it done because they were told me, okay, you got to take a swab up your nostril, and I was like, oh man, they're gonna jam it all the way up in there, but it wasn't no pain involved. It was just breathing normal, having the swab go up under there 20 seconds, and you're done. If you take the precautions of wearing a mask, cleaning your hands, washing when you get a chance to, social distance, then you're gonna be okay. Don't be afraid. Just get out there and do it, because it's important to know where your health is.
Maintaining physical as well as mental health posed its own set of challenges. Fear, stress, depression, confusion, anger. These negative emotions could have consumed an entire populace, but it was love, compassion, and efforts to keep togetherness strong during the pandemic that brought relief to the Rialto community. Food drives put on by local leaders and nonprofit groups were prevalent throughout the city in support of feeding families and households in need.
What motivates us is seeing that there's a need out there. Clearly there's a need. People are having challenged times. People have lost their jobs. People have been affected by COVID, so this is really an opportunity to bring the community together. And we had so many people that were willing to participate and volunteer, and I think it's been the people that have really played a major role in all the organizations, because people are eager to give and help, and I think that's been a big part, is the fact that people are willing to give during these trying times during COVID.
And we are, as a community, really reacting to the needs that are being presented us, not only financial, but also material things that they collect from our REACH program. And the contributions come from the different members of the community, and we are grateful for that. And that's very heartening that we are not alone, especially in times of need like what the pandemic is causing us. We react, humanly speaking, and that is a good sign, very positive sign that we care for one another.
And our church, along with other churches in the community, we're reaching out during this difficult COVID-19 pandemic to let people know there's hope, there's joy, and we'll encourage you to know that you're not forgotten. We want to help you and serve you. We have some wonderful young ladies and men who gather to put the food in boxes, get all packaged up, and then another crew comes in and start passing out the food to people coming by to get the food. It's an all-day process. We start about 7 o'clock in the morning and finish about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I thank God for all the great volunteers and pour their heart and soul, making sure that these boxes are ready and needs can be met.
Truly, by the grace of God, we're here. And we just give that credit to the Lord for that.
Yeah, we do.
And the fact that we have extremely loyal customers that have kept us moving forward. Their enthusiasm, just their loyalty. They come in and they give us an atta girl, just to boost us up, to know that we're on the right path. Business was established in 1981, and then Gloria and I have owned it since 1991. So we've owned it for 30 years. When it hit, we were kind of in a dilemma, what to do, So we followed all the protocol that the health department gave us. We shut down the whole dining room, we moved furniture around.
Just doing whatever needed to be done to make it through, and we did. We made it. We're on the other side. And the quirky thing about it all is that even in the midst of everything, I had back surgery at the very onset of the COVID, and Claudia was able to maintain and take care of the place and still stay sane. She's still sane today. And so we're grateful.
While some establishments suffered closures and others had to adjust to a new business model under COVID-19 guidelines, Rialto was able to keep up with the changing economy. In late summer of 2020, the city promoted the CARES Act grant program. It was a way to provide free financial assistance to small businesses and struggling households.
Here in Rialto, this past year has been tough, and it's been hard on us as well. But we recognize we're all in this together. And so that said, we've definitely made our resources available. We've provided rental assistance, we've provided utility assistance, as well as we've provided small business grants. I want to take a moment to thank our community-based and faith-based communities that have stepped up, as well as those small businesses that we have been able to contract with to make certain we can provide additional transportation services to our members in the community who need to be able to get to a testing or a vaccine. We have so much to do, and we are a community that believes in progress.
For the 2020 election, the city encouraged voter participation during the pandemic with the installation of mail-in boxes and drive-through ballot collections hosted by the city clerk's office. The City Council swearing ceremony was modified to accommodate the COVID-19 restrictions. Through virtual meetings, the council pressed forward.
Our city council's done such a great job with their leadership on creating a space for people to feel safe, for us to have the most contemporary and modern equipment. The word I want to, really think about is hope. We've vaccinated over 500,000 people, and when I see people out in the parks, it's really encouraging, and I think we feel like we're turning the corner, and we see it. We see it out in the streets. We see it in our customer encounters. The atmosphere is changing a little bit with that sense of hope.
On the education front, the Rialto Unified School District was forced to close schools and focus on alternative ways to instruct students.
In March of 2020, the Rialto Unified School District was poised to adjust and thrive under the new and challenging circumstances ushered in by COVID-19 pandemic. We understood that while challenges in education were necessary, our core values would remain the same. Thus, at the beginning of what became the COVID-19 pandemic, teaching and learning changed, but our commitment never stopped. Our district and community coalesced in pursuit of excellence, kindness, and service for each other. Our 2019-2020 school year concluded with graduations being held at each of our high schools during a drive-through ceremony for students and select members of their families. Leaders surface during crisis, and those are things that you cannot teach. And we have learned this through this experience that we have gone and continue to go through, is that different folks have stepped up to levels that they were not trained to do, but simply the need for change, the need for action compelled them again to step up their game. So I don't know if it's something along those lines that moving forward, we will not be returning to the normal. It's going to be a new normal with new leaders, new ideas, and new plans to take our education system in new directions.
The story shared here is but a glimpse of the inner strength of our community, how Rialto triumphed when COVID-19 forced its way onto our doorsteps.